Hey everyone, hope you all can hear me. This is Rob from Near Mid Condition. We're going to be talking about day two of E3. I mean, technically, it's actually not E3 yet. E3 technically starts tomorrow, but all of the conventions and the pressers and things like that are going on starting sort of kind of Saturday with EA. Sunday we had Microsoft, and today we have a whole bunch. We have PC Gamer. PC Gamer. That's an oxymoron. Yeah, don't at me. PC Gamer. Then we had, I believe we had Ubisoft. We had our friends at Limited Run Games. We just had our Square Enix. We had Game Over Greggy. We had another Inside at Xbox event. So there is a lot of stuff going on today. So first of all, let's just say hi to everyone in the chat. Let's see here. I see McNoodles. What's up, McNoodles? Thanks for joining me again. Charlie Rogers. Excited about Squeenix's Avengers. Yeah, they look good. Avengers fan says hello. Hello. So let's go ahead and get to it. Now, unfortunately, I really thought I could keep this kind of short. It's like, oh, there's not that much stuff coming out. There won't be that many things between Ubisoft and Square Enix, and that's just not true. So I'm going to try and keep this condensed, but if you know me, I'm pretty verbose. I apologize in advance. So first of all, the first thing that I saw today that got me super excited is Arcade 1UP. If you know me, you know that I have a few of these Arcade 1UP devices in my house. And they just announced that there is a Marvel Superheroes one that will come with Marvel Superheroes, the Capcom arcade game, X-Men Children of the Atom, and The Punisher. So that's really cool. It's $2.99. It'll look beautiful. It's really cool art. It has Thanos on the side with the Infinity Gauntlet on it. And if you ever played Marvel Superheroes, I have it over there on the Saturn. It's a lot of fun. You control as you fight, you get the 6 Infinity Rings or Infinity Stones. It's a lot of fun. The other thing that really got me going is the fact that we had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Turtles in Time cabinet announced, and it's 4-player. So every year I have an event called Video Game Armageddon, and we always end up playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, either the first one or Turtles in Time. Always. But people always complain because they can't play 4 players. Like, why can't we play 4 players? Well, sorry, I don't really have 4 big giant joysticks. I have an X Arcade, so it doesn't really have 4 ports. You can get in USB controllers, and that kind of works. But now, I actually might be able to pull off an actual Turtles in Time and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, like what everyone can actually play. So I am super stoked about this. That one is a little bit more expensive. It is $350. And the downside is, I actually don't know where I'm going to put it if I do get one of these. I have no idea. So I hope the wife isn't going to watch this stream, but I don't think she is. But yeah, Arcade 1UP really kicked it off for me anyway with TMNT, Turtles in Time, and Marvel Superheroes. Let's go ahead and get into some of the PC games. Now again, there were a ton of PC games showed off at the PC Gamer Epic Game Store show. So let's go ahead and talk about these. I'm going to run through these kind of quickly. Paradox brought Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. That looks like a lot of fun. There's another tabletop entry to that. A couple of games in a row that I saw that were interesting. Starmancer, Chivalry 2, Midnight Ghost Hunt, and The Unexplored 2. Midnight Ghost Hunt is by... where is the team based out of? I forgot where the team is based out of, but it uses the concept. There's a Gary's mod that was where you can pretend to be certain objects and hide in a room, and people had to try and find who you were. You can be like a toaster or a stick or what have you. This is that similar type gameplay, except it's more like you're a ghost and you're hiding in it. But you can also attack and defend yourself when it gets night. You're stronger against like the people hunting you, the ghost hunters. So that really seemed kind of cool. Last year, or not last year, but earlier this year, there was an April Fool's joke of a Conan Chop Chop, because there's all these Conan the Barbarian games coming out, and it looks like a 2D hand-drawn roguelike, and look at that, it's actually coming out as a real game, so that's really cool. Conan Chop Chop. And The Last Oasis, I don't know if you've seen this. This is really cool. This is a post-apocalyptic game where all that's left is like trees and wood and not technology, and these people have constructed kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn, where people construct like robots out of the materials that they have at hand. Except there's no actual robots, but more like these mechanical things with these like twisty arms and legs and crawling about the landscape. It's really cool. I saw it earlier in Steam Early Access. It looks like it's moving along. In fact, both Conan and this game, Last Oasis, are coming out in September. So check those two out. Saw a couple other things that I thought were interesting. Age of Wonders, Planetfall, Zombie Dead Army Zone, Remnant from the Ashes. Those all look very interesting. If you're a card game person, something called Griftlands with some cool art style. Planet Zoo, where you are a zookeeper and you're not just worrying about like where to put your animals, but also the well-being of the animals. Songs of Conquest, which is a similar game to the old Heroes of Might and Magic 2. And if you're in near mint condition age, you probably remember Heroes of Might and Magic, Heroes of Might and Magic 2, some of the best strategy games that you could get. Another Warhammer entry. And Shenmue 3 came out to play. Shenmue 3 came out. It's coming out in November. And we'll talk a little bit more about Shenmue 3. Yu Suzuki was getting around at the E3 show floor today. Other games that were interesting, at least that I thought, Ancestors. This is a game about the history of, well, humankind. It starts off in Africa, where humankind started, and evolves all the way through, and you can kind of play out a narrative of the way that you want these things to go. It looked very interesting. I've seen it before. I don't know if in early access or Twitch or something, but Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey, looks really interesting. Auto Chess is a very, 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 very popular game. It's coming out. 650 million players from China's coming out. Let's see, Mr. Toxic, you're going to sleep. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for saying hi. Hey, and the Avengers game does look very cool. And did you see, since before you go, did you see that all the voice actors that were going to be in that game, Laura Bailey, Nolan North, Troy Baker, all of these famous people are just coming out and like really doing their thing. So I wasn't stoked for it before, but after seeing it, yes, I am. I think it's going to be pretty dope. So I'm with you. Looking forward to that. Get your rest. Let's see, the real Slim Shady. So Taskmaster of Abomination named the viewers. Okay, yes, yeah. I wish we had some more comic folks in the stream because I'm a gaming person, not necessarily a comic guy. But I'd like to see. This is supposed to be an original take on the Avengers, so, as a Crystal Dynamics and Eidos working together with the Marvel game studios to come up with an original story, but it's still an authentic Marvel story. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what they come up with for their story. So I will talk about more about that too, but I want to make sure, since you guys are here and talking about it, I want to make sure I say something now. So yeah, going to be really cool. Let's see. Terraria got some new DLC, Telling Lies. To another game called Telling Lies, which is like her story. This was at PAX. I think this is where I saw Telling Lies. A bunch of video is playing, and you get to look at all these different videos of these different time frames and interpret who is telling the truth, who's telling a lie. It's really cool looking. Warframe, there's another Warframe. Genesis Noir, El Hijo, which looks like a cartoonish cowboy western type game. And then we have Baldur's Gate 3. This is pretty daggone cool. Baldur's Gate 3 was approached by a small studio, and they were like, hey, let's do Baldur's Gate 3. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. And then a couple years later, okay, here you can do Baldur's Gate 3. So the story's interesting. It's based on the 5th edition D&D playbook. And there is a tabletop game that's going to be a prequel that's coming out to it. So you can get a little bit, if you've never played Baldur's Gate, either the game or the D&D tabletop game, you can jump into Baldur's Gate, learn about the history of it, and then when the real game comes out, which they did not announce, they said when it's done, which, sure, I understand. Take your time. Get it done when it's done. So if you like RPGs, you like tabletop games, definitely keep your eyes peeled for Baldur's Gate. So then we switched to, okay, I actually did get through PC stuff pretty quick. Yay, me. So then up was our dear friends at Limited Run Games. Now, if you don't know me, let me tell you, I absolutely love physical editions of games. I might have a physical edition of, oh yeah, I do. Here we go. Here's a physical edition of Jak 3. You don't know Jak 3 because I'm a big fan of limited run games. I have 800,000 children, and I want to make sure that they can play these games when my digital hard drives conk out. I want to make sure they can play these games. And I also like how cool games look on a shelf. At some point, when I fix this room, you'll be able to see some of the games on the shelf. They look pretty cool. But that's just me. OR is the same way. He's also a physical games collector, so I love limited run games. I try and get some of the... Can't get everything because I don't have infinite amounts of money, but things that really appeal to me, I try and jump on. So, Layers of Fear 2. Let me take a swig. We're in Kentucky, so we drink bourbon. Please buy Layers of Fear 2 on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Okay. Night in the Woods is the first thing they announced on as physical edition, along with Guacamelee. And they kind of gave an, hey, Vita games, this is the last year that you're going to see any Vita games, because as you know, Sony has pulled out and they're done with Vita stuff. So they announced a couple more games, or last few games that are going to be coming out on the Vita. Jack, what's up, Jordan? Thanks for joining. Jack X was an outstanding game. You are absolutely right. And Matthew, you know you'll never give your kids those games. You're probably absolutely right. We had an episode talking about what are we going to do with our stuff when we move on from this world, which is a kind of morbid topic, but it bears like, you know, hey, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Yeah, my dream is to retire, play it all, and give it to the kids, and if they don't want it, turn it to a college fund to get them through school. But we'll see what actually comes in fruition. What's up, Nick? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. I know it's super late. I've been trying to get through this, but, you know, I'm wordy, and there are a lot more games than I thought there would be today. So, Night in the Woods, Guacamelee, Mutant Blob's Attack, Atari Flashback, Super Meat Boy, Metal Slug 3, and Papers, Please. The middle of those, Guacamelee, Mutant Blobs, Atari Flashback, Super Meat Boy, and Metal Slug are all coming to Vita physical editions. And I think Papers, Please is as well. And if you don't know what those games are, they've been out on the eShops and the various stores for a while, but there are a lot of cool games. Guacamelee is a Hispanic theme fighting super turbo pixel beautiful awesomeness, as is Mutant Blob's Attack. Atari Flashback is a whole bunch of Atari games compiled. Super Meat Boy is super tough platformer. Metal Slug 3, one of the defining. I have Metal Slug 3 over there somewhere. And Papers, Please is about it's very pixel art migrants trying to get through paperwork, and it's dazzling, as is Night of the Woods with animals going through a quest. These are all fantastic games. The new stuff that they announced, beep, 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 beep. I'm not a Power Rangers guy, like hardcore, but I know who they are. And Power Rangers Battle for the Grid looks really cool, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. That's exclusive to limited run games. Hover, Transistor, Rogue Legacy, Dark Devolution, or Dark Devotion, excuse me, Blazing Chrome, which is a that's the Arcade Crew, is a Contra 3-ish type shooter, pixel arty. Freedom Planet, I'm pretty sure I saw that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I know I've seen that at PAX. It's a very Sonic-esque game. It's fast, it's beautiful, a lot of fun to play. So I'm really happy that that game is getting a physical release. Turok 1 and 2. Turok 1 and 2 is coming. That's a physical release. And a physical release of Blaster Master Zero. I have all the Blaster Master games on 3DS, I think I have them. I might have one on the Switch, but I know I have them on 3DS. Where's my 3DS? It's right over here. It's around here somewhere. Anyway, that's coming to be a physical edition. That's probably one that I'll jump on as well. That's pretty daggone cool. So, that was limited run games. They had some... Oh, did I not say this? Did I not write this down? Did I miss this? Okay. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Okay. Last section of games that they just talked about. Red Faction. Old school shooting strategy fun game. Mutant Mudds already talked about. Corpse Killer. Double Switch, which I could have sworn Double Switch was already released as a physical edition. I missed on that, so maybe this is a chance to try it again. The actual old school Myst. I think it's called like The Real Myst is now what it's called now. If you remember that from the 7th Guest original CD-ROM era of gaming. Mercenary Kings is getting their second physical edition. It's an add-on to that. And this one got me. These two things got me. One, Shenmue 3. The collector's edition is exclusively at Limited Run Games. So when that drops, I am setting an alarm at 10 o'clock to make sure that I get this game because that's going to be awesome. Although I am a Kickstarter backer, so I'm kind of curious as to what the difference is between this and when I already kickstarted back, paid for. If it's the same thing, then I'm going to save my ducats and buy something else. But if it's not, I'll have to check it out. Invest wisely. Also, a little bit of controversy. Shenmue 3, the PC version, is appearing on the Epic Store only, not on Steam. So I think some people are really irritated about that. And when they initially backed the game, they were thinking about Steam, and now it's going to be an Epic Store exclusive. I don't know. Money talks. Let's see here. We have a couple other messages here. Let's see. Hope it comes out sooner or later. Release date. I think the release date was the May 15th of next year, which is my wife's birthday. Oh yeah. Thank you, Avengers fan. May 15th. That's what I saw. Papers, Please was made into a really cool short film on YouTube. I did not know that, Jordan. I will have to check that out. Cool, because Papers, Please, like the game itself, is really dope. I have to check that out. I love the community. I love the chat. Thank you guys for making me smarter. Or not smarter, making me know more things about gaming that I wouldn't have picked up on otherwise. So I appreciate you guys. The second thing, Shenmue 3 Collector's Edition, is Star Wars Collector's Editions of games. So some of your classic games, like the pod racing game, the old NES games. I don't think the Super Nintendo games were included in this, but a lot of old Star Wars games, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, Dark Forces, things like that, are going to get physical releases from Limited Run Games. Like the fact that they're able to show the Star Wars theme on their own press conference is fantastic. So I really have to give those guys props. So props to folks at Limited Run Games. Cheers. 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 Then we get to Ubisoft. Now you can probably guess what a Ubisoft conference is going to be, and it was exactly what you expect. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. They started off with the Assassin's Creed Symphony, where there is a live orchestra playing like awesome Assassin's Creed music, and this is going to be traveling around the world, the country and the world. So that'll be good. The first game they showed off is Watch Dogs Legions. Now I don't know if this is Watch _ Dogs, or I think it's just Watch Space Dogs Legions. And so this game you can play as literally anybody. And acquire, they all have different powers. Like this, so they showed like this bald dude. They showed this African American woman named Naomi. Shouts out to everyone named Naomi. They showed a little old lady who used to be an ex-spy, and she was really dope. And her crawling, jumping over. It's so funny to watch this these type of games, like players jumping over, like vaulting over gates. And then we had this old lady just barely crawling over a gate, but doing the same things. Freaking fantastic. But you can recruit anyone. There's permadeath. Like it looked legit, really awesome. And I like the first Watch Dogs was pretty good, but the second Watch Dogs was dope. So I'm hoping this goes more along with the second one. So I'm looking forward to that. So then there's a TV show from the producers of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's a TV show called Mystic Quest: The Raven's Banquet, which is a great fake name, and that should be a real name. But it focuses on the life of a creative director for a game and his ego. Because if you ever met any creative directors, they're kind of a little, sometimes a little arrogant a bit. But, not everyone. That's a very general statement. But this one focuses on a very arrogant, very bushy beard creative director. It looks kind of funny. I trust these guys. And a lot of cast from Community and things like that. So next up was Rainbow Six Siege, the next piece of Siege. And raise your hand if you play Siege. Everyone on Earth plays this game. It's fantastic. Why do you suppose video game movies never seem to work? Because I believe it's because the directors don't really understand the franchise that they're dealing with. So they just put a movie out that's like, that's close enough. Now, I don't think that's going to be true with the Metal Gear movie, because it looks like John Voight-Smith actually knows Hideo Kojima and knows Metal Gear and should be something. So maybe this will be something. We'll see. And this thing, like the preview looked kind of funny, so I don't know. I don't know how many series it'll last, but if it gets through one season, we get some laughs out of the video game industry, and I hope they show some stuff on the inside of an industry, because there's things that should be put in the public on how some of the personalities work and how games are put together and things like that, and like that's pretty interesting. McNoodles, you haven't played Siege. You should give it a shot. It's on just about everything. Next up, they showed Adventure Time Cross Brawlhalla, which has millions of players. So that's pretty cool to get several Adventure Time characters, such as the princess and the dog and everybody in Adventure Time. It's Adventure Time. What time is it? It's Adventure Time. So that looked neat, and that's actually out today. Now that's cool. Next, they showed Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. This comes out in October, and the beta starts in September, and it looked really edgy, really cool. John Berthal was one of the main motion capture actors, and the motion capture was great. Like, it was just in his face, and everything in his face was cheeky and moved and looked really cool, and he sounded all gravelly and gritty and had to face his mans. They're adding AI teammates back. So if you don't have any friends like me, you can still go through and play co-op with AI people. And if you ever played AI in the previous Ghost Recon, it's actually really good. It's called Delta Company. And if you get the game early, you get... That's the second time I've done that in a day. Terminator content. I think there's a new Terminator movie. Terminator Salvation? Resurrection? Something or another. So you get Terminator content with Ghost Recon, apparently, just like you do with Gears 5. Next, they show Tom Clancy Elite Squad for mobile, and this has a whole bunch of characters from the Tom Clancy universe, including our dear friend from Splinter Cell. But you're not going to get a new Splinter Cell. They didn't show that. Sorry. Next, they kind of showed a kind of. It was actually kind of touching. Just Dance is 10 years old, and they showed some people who had been playing the game and some of the things that they've done. And they were like, "Hey, what did you need to do? You dance? You just dance!" It was a good video. I liked it, and so that will be out as usual every year. I don't think there's going to be a Just Dance on the Wii. Last year, Just Dance 2019 did appear on the Wii, even though no one is buying Wii games or what have you. And Wii U too. No, there wasn't Wii U. I think it was just Wii. For Honor, the next piece of content is available for that. Shadows of the Hitokiri. I don't know what that means. I probably should learn more Japanese. Thank you for joining Infinity Nexus. I'm sorry I don't have any comic news. That is Omar's domain, not mine. And I'm talking about E3 stuff, and it's been going hard and heavy. But yes, this is my original Final Fantasy VII shirt from back in the Babbage's days. So this shirt is 20 years old, and it looks 20 years old. I wonder if I can show you my back. Can I show you the back? Can you see the back? A cloud on the back? I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that's what it looks like. I know, right? I just happened to find it. I was like, oh my gosh, I think it's going to be a Square Enix day. I hope I can find this shirt. Bada bing, bada boom, got the shirt. I also wore the shirt for a couple of episodes of Near Mint Condition coming up, so be sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you, Infinity Next. Thank you for joining. Next up, we were talking about Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. This is a player versus 3-player co-op. So think of how amazing Siege is for like co-op 4 versus 4. This is going to be the equivalent of players versus 3 co-op. Should be interesting. I have faith in these guys. This is a new team in the Square Enix team. Or in the Square Enix team, in the Tom Clancy Ubisoft, and that is pronounced Ubisoft, not Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft because I work with some ex-Ubisoft folks, and they correct me every time they get a chance to. Let's see. So then they announced Uplay Plus. So Uplay is how you can download that is Ubisoft's store and launcher for games. Uplay Plus is $15 a month, and you get old games and new games, which is really cool. So this new Rainbow Six and the new Watch Dogs and all that new content they announced, and old stuff like the old Assassin's Creed and stuff like Prince of Persia. If you remember Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, those games are all going to be available at $15 a month, which is kind of pretty cool. And that'll launch in September, and it'll also be on Google Stadia streaming platform in 2020. That's pretty dope. Ubisoft also announced a new IP called Roller Champions, where this is it's really not like anything. Maybe Jet Set Radio, maybe kind of sort of, where it's rollerblading and it's doing tricks and doing competitions and things like that. It had a cool art style, a cool vibe going on. So Roller Champions look really, really neat. I'm looking forward to that. And the guys were like, we're going to do this new game. We want to do something original. Boom, let's do it. So that's coming out soon. It's playable at E3, so hopefully soon. And the last thing they kicked off with was Gods and Monsters. So I think it's the Assassin's Creed team, and I thought it was going to be cartoon Assassin's Creed when they first showed things. It's very cartoony look, but it leans on mythology. So who do you call when the gods need help? And apparently you call us, and we go in and chop up mythological monsters. Like I saw like Medusa and Thor and other gods and things like that. It looked really cool. It looked nice. It looked like a different direction than a typical Assassin's Creed or whatever type game. So again, that's called Gods and Monsters, and that is due out February of next year. February of next year. Cruising Through Space is excited. What's up, Cruising Through Space? Is excited about the Avengers game. Yeah, me too. Me too. And that Avengers trailer did look badass. I liked it, McNoodles. So then next, Layers of Fear 2. Check that out. Next was, actually, I think there's a couple of other things that appeared before Square Enix did. There was a Game Over Greggy. He's a really cool guy. He did a show on 60 indie games, so I encourage you guys to go check some of these indies out. A couple stood out in my mind. If I can bring those up super quick, I don't know if I can. But there was one called, I believe it was called Free Space? Let's see. Free Space? It looked really slick. It looked really slick. So I suggest you all go through. It had like a very 2D art style. A lot of these games look really cool. There's games where you're running around as wolves. There's roguelites. There's card games. There's board games with little dials and bouncing around. There's a lot of really great stuff there. So maybe what I'll do is an indie episode where I just talk about the indie games that look neat to me at E3. But there's a lot of stuff a lot of content to cover. So let's go ahead and move on to, Microsoft also talked about that you can now rechange gamer tags, change your name in gamer tags and add extra characters and stuff. Okay, cool. And they announced a lot more backward compatibility for 360 games. In fact, they've done so much with backward compatibility, they're done doing backward compatibility. So I guess for when they announce the next hardware, which we talked about last night, they'll be working toward that. But a lot of cool games that are going to be backwards compatible. Looking forward to playing old games new again, enhanced. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. The thing that made me excited. I have 2 minutes to finish here, so that's just not going to happen, but we'll just talk as fast as I can while still being legible. So, kicked off with some Final Fantasy VII. There you go. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, technically, Square Enix, and I think I said this last night, so technically Square Enix said Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out March 3rd next year, which is one of my buddy's birthdays. So happy birthday, and it's right next to my anniversary. So this is a great present for us in March, us birthday and anniversary people in March. This was during the Final Fantasy Symphony that was going on last night. So today they were like, okay, and they also had a short trailer. Here's a quick trailer. So today we get the long version of the trailer, and we show gameplay. We had Yoshinori Kitsune come out. He had Tetsuya Nomura come out. Nomura came out. They talked about the game. They talked about working with each other, how they hadn't really worked together in like 20 years, and now here they are together again. So it's going to come in 2 giant Blu-ray discs. Which, okay. They didn't say anything about it being episodic. So I guess maybe they went away from that, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. They didn't specifically say episodic, so I don't know if episodic content is included. Although they did say the world of Midgar is enough for a whole game. So, I don't know. But they did show, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the gameplay itself, it seems to be a hybrid of real-time action where you can mash on the square button to use his Buster Sword. Yeah, I know, right? Buster Sword. Or when your ATB, your active time battle meter fills up, ba-ding, the game stops. A la old school ATB games, and you can choose and do like tactical stuff. So it looks like they call it a hybrid tactical mode. Which, okay, because when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be like Final Fantasy 15. Now, again, I like Final Fantasy 15. I do. But I didn't finish it just because the battle system is just it's weird to me. It didn't click. It still doesn't click. I should probably go back and try and finish it before this comes out. It's a good game, but anyway. So this looks like they really emphasize that you have a choice. You can play real time, or you can play old school active time battle, stylish way to do it. Then they showed off a boss battle. And I don't know if you've ever paid attention to a Final Fantasy game, but almost every I will do that. My Twitter is Rob64Games, at Rob64Games. I'll put that in the chat too. Thanks for asking, Infinity Nexus. The only thing that's been up there recently is my all these links so I can know when to stream and what to stream. Anyway, so every Final Fantasy, almost all Final Fantasy, starting with I think maybe 4, the first boss that you fight, you hit it, and then it goes into a mode where it like kind of you can't do anything to it, and then it comes back and go. So fortunately, they're paying attention, and this first boss still does that too. So that's good that they're still retaining that. So they showed that boss battle. There's a lot of chitter chatter going on between Cloud and Barrett, and I don't know how long this battle is going to be. It will seem to take a long time to beat this boss. I don't remember the boss taking that long in the first game, but maybe we'll see. I'm trying to, and I'm going to get on my soapbox, and then I'm going to jump off my soapbox. The original Final Fantasy VII, the way it was written in Japanese, Barrett was not a guy who be talking like this, you know what I'm saying, up in this yacht. No, he didn't speak like that. He was just a guy who kind of cared. He was kind of more father figurely rather than just thug and making white people jokes. That's not what he did in the original Japanese tense. But the translation in America, I think that was Tim Woosley. If I'm wrong, then I apologize, but they kind of gave him a bit more, I want to knock the white off your spiky hair. Like, okay, that's not Barrett. So in this game, I was really hoping that Barrett would be what he was supposed to be, like in the original Japanese. And this early voice acting I thought was done by the guy in Cowboy Bebop movie, but I don't think it's him. I think it's a guy named John Eric Bentley, I think is his name, who's done a lot of VO work. He's an African American. But it still sounds kind of black preachery. I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna go take this monster, and Cloud, you gotta go. I really hope they turn this down. It's probably too late, because if you've ever done any type of VO work, that is done months and months in advance, and going back and changing his VO, if it all sounds ghetto and gangster, that's just how it is. We're just stuck with that. Maybe they'll come up with some DLC or something, but I really hope that they personify. Okay, fine, give him a little bit of grit in his voice, but I really hope they capture the character of who Barrett is. Really capture who the character of Barrett is, rather than just some thug shooting people with a gun. There's a lot of heart to him in the Japanese version, so I hope that comes out with this. And this is your chance to do this right, Square. So let's see what happens. So they showed off Barrett, then they showed another longer trailer, and the longer trailer showed off Tifa, and Tifa looked gorgeous, fly, awesome. She looked great. Her attack moves were straight from the game that I'm used to. Jump kicks and punches and kicks. She looked great. And then they also showed off Sephiroth. Yeah, they played a little snippet of One Wing Angel, and he came out and he talked a little bit of smack, and Cloud was like, I'm going to hit you, and nothing happened, because if you know the scene, I'm not going to spoil it. Things are on fire. It's fine. It's not good, but it's not fine. So they showed that, and Sephiroth looked really good, as you'd expect. I mean, this is a Square game. We'll see. We'll see what actually happens here. I still think the voice acting was a step in the wrong direction overall. Imagination. Yeah. I can't disagree with that statement. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to play the game. But again, like I said, what you heard is what's going to be in the game, because it's way too late to go and put people in a studio and re-record audio. And there's too much. This is just what it is. Maybe there'll be a Japanese option. I don't know. But hey, at least it's fully voiced, so that's neat. And the voice acting isn't terrible. It's not terrible. It may not be the best. It's not terrible. Anyway, so then finally, Square Enix, thank you. I'm glad you agree with me. I agree with you too. You and I were in sync with this, Infinity Nexus. So then they announced some editions. They announced a collector's edition that's $80, I believe. Steel case, stickers, DLC, whatever. That'll probably be the version that I get, because they also announced a first class edition that comes with like Cloud on a bike and an actual gunbuster and a lock of his hair, and it's like $320. And I wish I'm saying it's like I'm exaggerating. Oh, I'm wrong. It's $330. $330 for this huge, insane collection. And you know what? As this video was playing, and we've seen like the Doom collection was $200. the Death Stranding that comes with the baby was $200. I was like, you know what? Square could charge $300 and suckers would pay for it. And sure enough, they came with a $330 version of this game. And you know it's going to sell out. I guarantee it's probably sold out right now. Well, someone go check. Go to the Square Enix store and go see if that's sold out. 330 First Class Edition. Do I want it? Oh, yes. Am I going to get it? No. That's just not a thing. Not a thing. So Square was smart. I've talked a whole bunch about Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if you can see my back. Let's see. I'm trying to do it this way just to make sure. Maybe you can see Cloud. He's back there. Final Fantasy VII. The game is not as good as you remember, but it's still... When I worked at Babbage's, America's Computer Software Headquarters, back when this game first came out, and it sold like gangbusters. Everyone, women, men, kids, old people, everyone bought this game. It put RPGs on the map. Everyone started to love JRPGs. They were stepping on my timeline playing these JRPGs, but it was good for the industry. It was an amazing game at the time. Graphics may not have held up so well. The story still doesn't make much sense to me, but I'm glad it's getting a remake and new people will be able to experience this because this is an essential game that everyone needs to play who likes RPGs. Everyone should play Final Fantasy VII in its hobbled version, and there's plenty of ways to play in its hobbled version and this remix. So I'm glad this is happening. So that's enough about Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to rocket through these because I'm a bit over on time. Life is Strange 2. They showed a whole bunch of streamers playing this game, and it looked really emotional. I mean, like, it looked there's a kid who has these powers, and he's able to move things around force stop style, and there's a lot of emotions going back between him and the father and the brother and the family and stuff. So, we'll see. Infinity Nexus. Oh, not quite. I'm at the voice acting in the PS2. Further Journeys. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I still don't disagree with you. True. Okay. After Life is Strange 2, which looks really, if you've ever played the first Life is Strange, it's very inexpensive and it's a lot of fun. It's a great story, great journey. I heard music. I want to stop now. Crystal Chronicles. So Omar, also on Near Mint Condition, my wife and his wife and I would get together almost once a week and play Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube, I think. And then when it came out on the DS, we got Children of Mana, so we would get together again and play it on the on our DSs, not 3DSs, DSs. Love that game. And Omar was such a jerk playing the game. He always wanted the women to hold the bucket and heal. Like, dude, have you met these two? You met our wives. They're not going to hold the bucket and heal. You're going to hold the bucket and heal. That's your job. So, Crystal Chronicles is going to have online multiplayer. It's going to be on PS4, the Switch, and mobile. So I am looking forward. I don't know if I'm going to get into that again, but if you've not played Crystal Chronicles, it's a lot of fun, especially with 4 people going through the game. It's not a real Final Fantasy, but there's crystals in it, and the art style is similar. Yeah, it's a Final Fantasy game. It's Final Fantasy enough. And it was really, I think I still have the equipment. So to play on the GameCube, for you kids that didn't know, to play on the GameCube, you had to have 4. I think you can use, someone on the TV can use a game controller, but the ideal situation was to have 4 Game Boy Advances, and you needed these 4 cables that plugged into the bottom of the game, or to the top of the Game Boy Advance, or into the bottom if you had the SPs, and plug into your GameCube. So in order to find the equipment just to play this game, it took a lot of equipment to do it, but I mean, at this point, you can probably gather that I made sure to have all these cables and things. I probably still have those cables, maybe over there. But it was a lot of fun, so I'm glad that people are going to be able a chance to experience Crystal Chronicles online. And now I don't have to like try and meet at their houses, so that'll be cool. Yes, that's right. The Wind Waker, you had like the map. I think the Tingle did something. Yeah, that was really cool. And I kind of miss like being able to have a little screen on my controller. There's rumors, and I don't know if it's going to be true. There's rumors that the PlayStation 5 DualShock will have a screen on it, which please bring that back. Like the Dreamcast had the little LCD screen that were the memory cards, and they had cool things with that. That's great for football plays and maps and whatever else. So put a screen back in your controller, somebody. Then they talked about Octopath Traveler, which is already out on Steam. I guess they just want to remind people. The Last Remnant on the Switch. This is cool. Last Remnant was a 360 game. I don't think it's within arm's length. But now it's on the Switch, and it's available right now. today. Cool. Dragon Quest Builders 2, there's a demo that is released today. I'm a big Dragon Quest guy, as you probably know. I don't have any Dragon Quest stuff right here. How don't I have Dragon stuff within arm's reach? I always have Dragon stuff. Final Fantasy stuff within arm's reach. I suck. Anyway, Dragon Quest Builders 2. I wasn't sure if this is going to come out here, but fortunately it is. I guess the first Builders made enough money where it was alright to come here. So cool, Dragon Quest Builders 2. And the demo's out today. Then they showed Dragon Quest 11 Sentinels of the Starry Skies. No, I don't remember the subtitle, but I should remember the subtitles because I've put 104 hours into Dragon Quest 11 on the PS4, and yes, I'm going to do it again when this comes out in the fall on the Switch. I am, because it takes one of the modes from the 3DS. It takes the 16-bit mode and puts it in the game. The PS4 was just beautiful 3D graphics. The 3DS version had, you could play the game with 3D on the top and 2D Dragon Quest E mode on the bottom. And I have a legit copy from Japan, thanks to Tina. Thank you, Tina, from Near Mint Condition. She brought back Dragon Quest 11. So I have Dragon Quest 11 on the 3DS, and I have it on the PS4. So I want to get it on the Switch too. I love the game. And even though I put 104 hours into the game, I just finished the game, as in I made the credits roll. But then, and I'm not going to spoil anything obvious, but there is a lot more to do that I cannot wait. I cannot wait to do what they presented before me. Throughout this game, let me talk a little bit about Dragon Quest XI. Throughout this game, I said Dragon Quest is one of the best. This is the best JRPG of the past 10 years. Maybe the best Dragon Quest game there is. And as I kept playing it, more and more things happened that solidified this. And when event occurred after completing the game, it was like, oh, go do this. And it's like, okay, yes, this is the best game I've played. This is the best JRPG I've played in 10 years, 20 years. And even like the NPCs, like normally, like you go to a town and some townsperson's having a problem, and then you go fix it and you go about your day. And they're not very memorable. Every little NPC, every little bit of trauma that they have is really well written. It's really well written. So I remember NPCs' names and the things that they're going through. Like, because it's all like, oh, it's not like, okay, I gotta go do this fetch quest or whatever. It's like, oh, I gotta help these people. They actually need my help. So, I mean, I'm telling you, Dragon Quest 11 is dope. If you miss it on PS4, pick it up on Switch in the fall. Infinity Nexus, again, you and I are people. Love Dragon Quest. Remember after 8 you had the yes. Okay, again, not going to spoil anything, but like think of something of the magnitude of that, where you had to go do a ton of stuff after you beat the game. That's what I'm done. I don't want to say anything more. Read my last comment, please, McNoodles. What did you say? Mr. B has a channel with 8 million subs. Yeah, I saw him show up last night. Is he in the chat today? I wish I had had a chance to say hi. Thanks for joining our little channel. Our little channel, 10,000 subscribers. Thank you, 10,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. I remember we were begging people when we had 100 subscribers to get 100. Now we have 10,000. 10, is that right? 10,000. Yeah, that's right. 10,000. Shouts out to 10,000 subscribers. Finishing up, because I'm way over time. That's okay. Love gaming. Finishing up. I'm going to ask a big question, but I've never played a Final Fantasy. Nick! You're killing me! Okay. The question is, Nick, do you like RPGs? Do you like anime? Do you like stories that are maybe sometimes a little nonsensical, but really make you have a lot of grit and want to go fight and do the thing that you have to do, or maybe cry because the thing that you were trying to do didn't go the way you thought it would go? If that's the case, you definitely should play some of these games. Now, which game should you start with? We had a way back in the early days of Near Mint Condition. I think I did an episode specifically on like all the Dragon Quest games and all the Final Fantasy games and which one you should start with. I don't remember what I said. I think I said Dragon Quest 3 or 4 would be good ones to start with if you really want to start back. They kind of all talk to each other, but they can be all played separately. Same thing with Final Fantasy. If you've played a previous Final Fantasy, there's a lot of homages in the subsequent ones, but they're not. They can all be played whatever. So Nexus says Final Fantasy VII and Dragon Quest VIII. Dragon Quest VIII is really, really, really good, and it was not designed for the Western audiences in mind, but it's one of the first Dragon Quest games that really permeated the Western audience. I'm pretty sure I worked at the video game store when this game was out, and we sold a bunch of these as well, because I think it came with a Final Fantasy demo. So, yeah, exactly. And this is still, Erdrick is still a thing. Do you like RPGs? Not a big anime guy. So, alright, so The Witcher 3 was maybe your game? I'm going to go out and say, even if you don't like anime, if you like, okay, there is one thing, caveat about this. Dragon Quest 11 is very much walk along, see a monster, chop it down. It's very turn-based. There's no, like, action active time battle running around speedy system. No, it is as traditional can get when it comes to RPGs. Walk along, find a monster, you fight, magic, status. It hasn't really changed much since 1987 when the original Dragon Quest came out in Japan. But that said, the battle system is still fun. I have fought hundreds of millions of battles of Dragon Quest, and I still have, again, I put 104 hours into the game because of the story, the fighting system, the characters. The characters, your main squad of characters, they're the most developed, wonderful Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, like anime-esque, just great characters. Even if they weren't anime, it doesn't matter that they're like, drawn in the Akira Toriyama Dragon Ball style. They're just fantastic characters with a lot of depth and a lot of sides to them. I really love the game, and maybe the latest one is the one that gets jumping off with because it has currently the best graphics. It's on everything. You can get it on Steam. You can get it on PS4. It's coming out on Switch. Maybe that's a way to get started with JRPGs, but it does not get any more old school JRPG than Dragon Quest. And Dragon Quest 11 is a great jumping point. Now, once you play it though, there are things that you're not going to miss. Like there's a lot of music and stages and names that you're not going to recognize, but it doesn't really matter to completing the game. So I don't know. That's a very good question. A very good question. So no spoilers discussion. No spoilers. Witcher 3 was good, and I'm into like Dark Souls stuff. Yeah, The Witcher 3 was good. Witcher 3 was really good. I actually asked some of my other gaming buddies, what was your favorite RPG? And I'm talking like Western RPGs. And surprisingly, they all said The Witcher 3. I thought they would say Skyrim, or like Divinity 2 Original Sin, or Dragon Age, or maybe even Pillars of Eternity. But Witcher 3 is what everyone came up with. I like Skyrim myself over that, but that's just me. I'm also acclimated to Japanese stuff, and dragons permeate through most of these type of RPG things. So, let's see. Let's keep going. We're almost done. Sorry, God, I didn't mean to get on a Dragon Quest Final Fantasy like rant, but these are essential things you should give a shot and play. Yeah, Nick, I assume you've talked to Omar. I, as a gaming person, have gotten a little bit more into comics. Not a little bit more. Like I have. I found this thing. X-Men, Cyborg. Going to try and check that out. Like, especially with like after watching the Avengers movie, Endgame, and Infinity War, and then some of these games coming out, it's like, yeah, I want to learn more about these characters like Black Panther. And I asked like, hey Omar, what should I read? And he told me, hey, go read this Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus. Go read this. So yeah, these comics and like video games, especially some of these things, they kind of cross-pollinate. And think about the most successful movie that's come out in the past ever, actually, other than Avatar, although maybe took Avatar, is Infinity War and Endgame, which are based on comics, which means that comics know how to do stories, right? So, of course, I'm going to be attracted to, like, great story writing, because the story writing, despite the medium, is always going to be a great story. And there's a lot of great stories in video games, too. That's what I'm going to get at. At Dragon Quest XI, some of the Final Fantasy games, The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption, these games all have fantastically stunning stories. So, check it out. Alright, let's finish up real quick. Oh, I have a lot more notes down here than I thought. Circuit Superstars. This is the team, I think it's based in Poland, maybe? and they're based in Mexico, and they're into racing. And so this is like a cartoony racing game, kind of like RC Pro Am, or what was that game called? Ivan's Off-Road, Super Off-Road in the arcade with the big steering wheel. So that's going to be pretty cool. Battalion 1944, they look like a pretty interesting shooter. Square Enix music, now we can listen to Square Enix music, and I am the guy who bought the soundtrack to Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X. I didn't buy the soundtrack to Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy XII, Final Fantasy 13. In fact, I bought the big book, giant box soundtrack to Final Fantasy 13. Me, my buddy Keith, and my brother are like the only people who loved Final Fantasy 13. I love the crap out of the game. Love the music. Love the gameplay is awesome. So Square Music, like, I don't know if it's, I believe it's a service, and it also is going to be on like Google Music and Apple Music and Spotify Music and da-da-da music. I think that's what this is going to be too. So that's great to be able to listen to Square Enix music anytime I want to. There's a YouTube video of all the Final Fantasy battle music, all the Final Fantasy boss music, and I queue that up all the time. So this will be cool to do that on the legit side. Kingdom Hearts 3, some DLC, the Remind DLC was talked about a little bit. Final Fantasy 14, the online game, which keeps being rebooted and it keeps getting better each time. Shadowbringers, that's coming out in July. Dying Light 2, we've talked about Dying Light 2 earlier. Yesterday, I think I talked about Dying Light 2. You're Infected, so that's a cool twist in the game. That's coming out not too long from now. And then some classic RPGs are coming. Romancing Saga 3, which I don't believe has ever had a US release here. And Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions, which has been in Japan for a long time. I'm not sure about the quality of that one. One of these Saga games was not too great. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been maybe this one, maybe it was a different one. I don't know. Let's see. I love Transformers, video games, guys, you did. Yeah, we sometimes show our age with some of these things that we reference. Yeah, we kind of know what we're talking about. I'm sure there's things I've said in this video that, only people who are of near mint condition might pick out, but thank you for paying attention. Final Fantasy Brave Xevious War of the Visions DLC is coming out for the mobile game. The company called People Can Fly, they're the ones that are in Poland, because the dude was like, yeah, most of my people it's 4 a.m., and actually, yeah, it was about 4 a.m. in Poland when he said this. They're coming out with a game called Outriders, and like People Can Fly, that developer, the same people who did Bulletstorm on the PS3. It is a 4-player co-op game. Shooter, it looks pretty daggone legit, so I'm looking forward to that. Oninaki is a overhead strategy game, I believe is what that was. That looked pretty cool. And then Final Fantasy VIII Remastered Edition. So Final Fantasy VIII is one of the few games of all the Final Fantasy games that has not been re-released on something. So this says remastered. I mean, sort of remastered. Like, it looks like it's based on the PC version that came out. So, props. Born in the 80s. Oh, amen, somebody. Final Fantasy VIII, it's not. I don't think it's like a remaster. Like, it looks completely new. I think it's just brought to the new systems. It'll probably have things like the push the button to make things go fast, and things to make the game more playable. Because Final Fantasy VIII is a good game, but with teenage love story type game, but it needs to be revisited. So I'm glad this is happening. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy of that era, 7, 8, 9. 9 of my favorite of those 3. But it's not a bad game. Idea's really cool, and the character's really cool, and Zidane, and I forgot the girl's name. I forgot the girl's name, but it's a good game. It's a good game. So you think I'm lying, right? So that's coming out on all platforms, and that's coming out this year on all platforms. And then finally, yes, yeah. So it's not really a remake, but they called it remaster, which I had to look at that 3 times. I almost didn't want to write down rematch. Like, it's not really remaster, but it's here that you can play easily. That's good. And then finally, I'm not going to say they saved the best for last, because for me, as an RPG guy, that was Final Fantasy VII. But what they did was wise. Putting Marvel Avengers at the end, and then showing how awesome it is. I loved it. We talked about this at the beginning of the segment, but this is Crystal Dynamics is a developer, and they have been working with Marvel Game Studios for a all-new Avengers story. This is an all-new story. It doesn't have anything to do with films or anything like, or the comics. So it'll be very interesting the direction that they take. because we saw the comics go this way, and we see the film go this way, and this go, who knows which way this is going to go. So, but the characters are realistic, but they don't look like this. I guess you can't license Scarlett Johansson's face and things like that, which that's fine with me. But the talent behind some of these voices, we have Nolan North, we have Laura Bailey, we have Troy Baker. Like, we have like all these these amazing people doing the voice work for these games, and they gave they showed a couple of cinema displays of people like interacting and stuff with Tony Hawk and Bruce Banner and them arguing and things, and it was good. It's very good. It's going to be 4-player. There's going to be co-op. Square Enix promised there's not going to be, well, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos, whoever, they all promise that there's not going to be loot boxes, there's not going to be pay to play or to pay to advance. And the first thing I saw, like in this, were the 5 Avengers. So they showed Hulk, Thor, Iron Man. Who did they leave out? Who am I missing? Well, they didn't show Hawkeye, which made me irritated because I want to see Hawkeye. But I think this next statement, I think they said all characters would be added for free. So maybe Hawkeye will get his due. And then at the end, they kind of showed Ant-Man, him shooting a thing. So, yeah, I think if Hawkeye will get there. Captain America, did I not say Captain America? Good grief. Okay. Yeah, how can you forget America's ass, right? I like how we went from language to America's ass. Okay. Which Captain America are you? Hail Hydra. So, I hate the Avengers. Remember Superman Returns, Iron Man back in the 3D controls? Yeah, those games weren't very good. I'm going to have to disagree with this. I don't remember playing any good Marvel games on the 360. I don't. Basically free DLC. Yes, that's what we're getting at. The VIII Avengers looks like looks like a cool idea. Yeah, it does. I'm super hyped for this. So, all this is happening. If you are a PlayStation player owner, you get additional benefits. Apparently, you get some early access, maybe some dynamic themes, some skins. I don't know. You get stuff if you're playing it on PlayStation. And that game comes out May 15th of 2020, which is my wife's birthday, which is pretty cool. May 15th. That's going to be awesome. Spider-Man. Yeah, actually, they did wrestle Spider-Man away from Fox or Sony, didn't they? Yeah, so I don't know if that'll be in this game, maybe. I'll be glad. Who saw Dark Phoenix? I kind of want to see Dark Phoenix, but then I heard it wasn't very good, which hurts my feelings, but I still kind of want to see it because the trailer make it look awesome. And I read the Dark Phoenix saga, or some bits and pieces of it, in the comics. It's really neat. So, really kind of pulls at the tug, so I don't know. Yeah, everyone in my house is a Taurus. It's either May, all the birthdays, literally in my family. Here's some more information about Rob. All my family's birthdays are all in May, or they're all in October. That's it. May, October. That's it. So that makes it May a very expensive month and October a very expensive month. But it also means that I can combine birthdays in October and combine birthdays in May too. So yeah, it's great to be us, and it sucks to be us. So, May 15th, 2020. Yeah, I know, right? I want to see it too. Forget the reviews. Even Omar had to concede Dark Phoenix. Oh, man, did he really say that? Well, let's see. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. I think this is the last Fox, like, X-Men movie, and then, like, Marvel comes to take it back. So, maybe we'll see some X-Men in our Marvel movies. Wouldn't that be interesting? We actually talk about some of these things a little. I think we talked about this during the live show. What was your first experience with comics? It was me having a subscription to this comic service. I so wish I had those comic books somewhere. And it was X-Men. I love X-Men. The G.I. Joe comics, those are good. Some of the Transformers comics, like this one. Transformers comics. That's cool. I wish I knew what they were now. And then me going to my grandfather's dry cleaners and picking up X Factor, which wasn't as good as X-Men, but it was fine. It was fine. And so that brings me to the end of the stream. An hour. I was hoping to knock this out in half an hour or 45 minutes, but it took an hour. So guys, thank you very much. I wanted to wait on Mr. B. Well, I think I missed Mr. B. Unfortunately, I have to jump off here. It's still have some more work that I need to do, but I appreciate everyone hanging out, having me go through this list, talking about some gaming stuff, gaming things that I missed. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the 10,000 subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please push the like, subscribe, share button. You can follow us at NearMitCon on Twitter. I am at Rob64Games. That is me. And I talk about game stuff most of the time. Occasionally bourbon, things like that. So, again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us. And tomorrow is going to be the big one for me. If you know me, maybe you don't know me. My name's Rob. I'm a Nintendo whore. I'm not wearing Nintendo. Usually I wear Nintendo socks, something Nintendo related all the time. So the Nintendo show is tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for me. I plan to, when I get to work, when it gets approaching 12 o'clock, I plan to absolutely go into our streaming room, lock the door, and just watch this thing. It's going to be 40 minutes. They should be talking about Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Those things are cool. What I really want to see, well, I want to see the mini Switch, but Nintendo already said they're not doing any hardware announcements. But I really want to see Super Mario 3D World, because I want to take my Wii U and get it out from under my entertainment system, because I keep it for that, because my kids love the game, I love the game too, it's a great game. With Super Mario Maker 2, oh, that's something else we're going to talk about. Super Mario Maker 2 has the Super Mario 3D World game mode in it. Captain Toad's Treasure Trackers is using the Super Mario World engine, so it's already on the Switch. It's already there. All y'all got to do is go copy paste. Okay, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. But I would love to see. That's the one thing I really want to see is Super Mario 3D World on the Switch. Obviously, I want to see Metroid 4, but I doubt we'll see anything like that because the development was rebooted. And we're probably not going to see Mother 3, which is up there in Japanese. Probably not going to see Mother 3. But, you know, especially with Reggie Fils-Aimé out of the loop, we can't make that Reggie Mother 3 joke. I love that joke. Yeah, pretty much a Nintendo prostitute. Pretty much that's who I am. It's pretty bad. Most days I am wearing Nintendo clothes, socks, hoodies, hats, things like that. Now, that doesn't mean I don't play other games. Like, I love my Xbox, I love my PlayStation. Like, I probably have more PlayStation games than I have anything. But Nintendo is my first game system that was actually mine. And some of those games are still, and Super Nintendo games are still some of my favorite games ever. Like, if I was on a desert island, that'd probably be one of the systems I'd take with me. 3DS wherever I go, the Switch, I mean, yeah, I'm a Nintendo guy. So, that's the thing I'm looking for tomorrow. I probably will get a chance to stream a lot earlier, maybe. Although, as soon as I say that, that's not going to happen. So, let's just assume that I'm going to stream about the same time. 10, 10:30, 11, something like that is when I'll stream and just talk about Nintendo stuff. And that will be it for our E3 coverage. E3 coverage. Yeah, so again, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. Thank you very much. Please visit our social media. We are at NearMitCon on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have a Patreon. Sign up for that. Please like and subscribe and share these videos if you like our content. We have panel shows where we talk about a multitude of things. We have our anime expert, we have our comics expert, our Transformers toys expert, our cosplay expert, our movies and TV expert, and our everything else expert. We are all experts of these different things, right? So, appreciate you guys playing with us. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. And remember, it's not fresh, it's minty. Stay minty, keep gaming. Peace!